products as well as the Kenyan products. So Kenya prides herself being manufacturing of global fashion brands such as, yes, you can imagine, Calvin Klein is made in the EPZ, Tommy Hilfiger, Izod, Levi's, and many, many others that we are all out of in other countries, EU, Kenya, they're all in the EPZ. We cannot access them there because they're for export oriented, but our people are being employed there. Our people are eating and feeding from that EPZ program because of these brands that are coming to invest in Kenya and use what is Kenyan. So they're always welcome, you're always welcome to this investment. Ladies and gentlemen, the EPZ program has experienced incredible growth since inception, and currently we host, as I said, over 100 100 private zones, and has directly employed over 82,000 workers. That is directly. Indirectly is if you we could talk over 500,000 workers. And exports, cumulative exports is 2.9 billion. Out of this, apparel sector employs over 80% of the workforce in the EPZ program, which only forms 23% of the companies under the program. So the program, as it may be known, EPZ is all about textile, but yes, EPZ has more other manufacturers in that, a lot of them being agro-processing. That is not known. We are mostly known for textile and apparel. But yes, agro-processing is also a very big part of the EPZ program and Kenya. Finally, I am aware that some of the exhibitors had an opportunity to briefly visit the EPZ Athi River yesterday. Athi River is the largest public zone under the EPZ program and is further categorized as the textile hub of Kenya. I wish to invite you all potential investors to visit us, to talk to us, to talk to our investors there. To learn more about the program, visit our stand here, just C17. The team is here to talk to you more about the EPZ program. It's not just for international. It's not for people who have a lot of money. It's for everyone. Let me close reminding you that Kenya is indeed open for business, and EPZ Day is proof that textile and apparel and leather is still a sector that is of great interest to foreign and local investors. I wish you all productive business engagements and invite you to sample Kenya. Visit EPZ Day as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to welcome Mr. Wimmer, Head of Mission of the German Embassy, before we go on with K Proper, and then Your Excellency will do the opening. Thanks so much, Mr. Wimmer.
So let me take the shortcut up. The Honorable Principal Secretary for Industry, and by the way, also a veteran of Kenyan-German cooperation. Dr. Juma, good to see you again. Dear Claire, representing EPZA Kenya. Dear Hilda, representing Keproba. The CEO of Trade and Fairs Group Germany, Mr. Skandar Negasi, distinguished participants, members of the media present, good morning, and I want to join my friends who have already spoken in wishing Eid Mubarak to our Muslim friends. I'm pleased to join you all this morning on behalf of the German Embassy in Kenya as we kick off the East African Textile and Leather Week 2023. This expo is about celebrating the vibrant fashion, textile, and leather industries of the region, and it will allow participants to have a better view of the East African textile landscape. Today and for the next 2 days, we expect key industry stakeholders from around the globe to engage in meaningful exchanges with each other and explore opportunities to establish business relations. This year's edition of the Expo could not come at a better time. Just as Claire has just mentioned, last week the EU and Kenya politically concluded the EPA, the Economic Partnership Agreement. Once it comes into force, there will be immediate duty-free, quota-free access to the EU for all of Kenyan exports. And it will surely elevate Kenyan and European business and trade relations to a whole new level. It will also provide new opportunities for Kenyan and European businesses, including the micro, small, and medium enterprises. The leather and textile sector stands to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of this new trade and investment arrangement. Leather, hides, skins, and textiles are one of the key value chain areas that Kenya's government wants to focus on. The Kenyan government strongly believes increasing investments in these key value chain areas will have the largest impact in the Kenyan economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the German government also appreciates this new direction of key value chains counterparts are taking. And in fact, in alignment with this, the German government through GIZ is also one of the many sponsors of this expo. We've just seen the GIZ Ethiopia stand there supporting the Ethiopian representation at this expo. In our view, the East African Textile and Leather Week is more than a usual expo event. It will catalyze growth, collaboration, and positive change in this industry. The over 100 exhibitors and 2,000 expected visitors to show up will actually confirm this. As a key partner, Germany deeply appreciates the excellent bilateral relations we have with Kenya. We have strong ties in politics, in culture, and education, not forgetting the critical ties in business, trade, and investment relations. It goes without saying that Kenya is an important regional hub, connecting the Indian Ocean with the many hinterland countries, Uganda, South Sudan, Rwanda, Burundi, and even Eastern DRC. And this Expo week will also prove this very fact because it covers the whole East African region. Ladies and gentlemen, for Germany, the Supply Chain Act, which came into force earlier this year, is playing a critical role in ensuring the protection of the rights of people who produce goods for the German market. This includes the producers of leather, hides, and skins from countries such as Kenya and East Africa. Germany is further supporting the textile industry in this region, not only with investments, but also with experts from the environmental sector, the wastewater systems in factories, the vocational training sector, and women empowerment in this industry. German companies like Josef Seibel, which manufactures shoes at a factory in Ukunda, are good examples of this kind of support. And if you haven't visited their stand, do that. They are right there. They have incredible products there to look at. As I conclude my remarks, as you move around the various exhibition stands here today, kindly keep in mind the major door-opening potential of this event to new business ties around the world. Let me take this opportunity to appreciate the excellent work of the organizing team, those here on the ground, the German company Trade and Fairs Group, Skanda and all his colleagues, and every other one involved in the successful planning and execution of this expo. Thank you very much to all of you for showing up in great numbers and for your participation in advance. I wish you all, both exhibitors and visitors, a very successful expo event for the next 3 days. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Thomas Wimmer. We would like to inform you that we also have a German chamber here that is very supportive and very successful in the country. Thanks so much, Thomas. And always supportive. So we have an office here in Nairobi. Please reach out to them if there's any support needed as well. Now, I have the honor to also have Keproba on board. Madam, your turn.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Eid to our Muslim brothers and sisters. My name is Hilda Ogada. I'm Manager Export Market Development and Promotion at Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency. I'm here on behalf of my CEO, Madam Floyce Mukabana, who is away today. So I will read her remarks. Principal Secretary, State Department of Industry of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Juma Mokwana, Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany to Kenya, Chief Executive Officer of EPZA, Chief Executive Officer of Trade and Fairs Group, representatives of various government ministries, departments, and agencies present, textiles and leather sector stakeholders present, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, I am pleased to join you all this morning for the opening ceremony of the East Africa Textile and Leather Week. Allow me from the onset to join other speakers in extending a warm appreciation to Trade and Fairs Consulting Group for organizing this event. For those who haven't interacted with Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, we are a government agency mandated to implement export promotion and nation branding initiatives and policies. To promote Kenya's export of goods and services, and also to brand the country. Therefore, this conference and exhibition resonates well with our mandate, and we are proud to be part of the conversation. Remarkably, the textile and apparel sector is a major foreign exchange earner for Kenya, with export earnings from the sector averaging approximately $500 million annually. Kenya's leather exports have been minimal, averaging about $20 million annually. However, as a country, we are not even scratching the surface in terms of exploiting the export potential that both sectors have, given that the global textile market size is valued above $1 trillion, while the leather goods global market size is valued above $450 million. The good thing is that we have started the conversation on how to promote Kenya as a source market for quality textiles and apparel and leather products. And this conference and exhibition resonates and adds impetus to this agenda. Importantly, the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency has been running a campaign dubbed Made in Kenya as part of an initiative to position the country as a source market for quality goods. I will be giving a more detailed presentation about this campaign after the lunch break during the panel discussion on brand identity and sourcing. Further, in recognition of the huge contribution of these sectors in driving export growth, the government has prioritized them as one of the value chains to drive export-led economic growth. The theme of this conference, Accelerating East African Sustainability in Textile and Leather Industries, is timely considering that global brands are increasingly enshrining sustainability at the core of their business practices, while preserving their own compliance requirements. Suppliers also have to adhere to increasingly stringent social and environmental standards. Consumers are also driving the shift by wanting or demanding fashion players to uphold their social and environmental responsibilities. These trends have a direct bearing on Kenya as well as the East Africa region's competitiveness as a source market for textile and leather products. And this conference provides us with an opportunity to have a conversation about these emerging issues in these sectors. Finally, allow me to reiterate that Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency is committed to continuing pitching Kenya as a source market for quality textile and apparel and leather products, as well as championing the market linkages between the Kenyan business community and their counterparts across the globe. Lastly, I wish to invite our visiting delegates to tour the agency stand at the exhibition area and have a feel of the range of opportunities that we have to offer. I wish you all a wonderful B2B sessions and engagements and a very enjoyable stay in Nairobi. Asante sana. So I'd like to take this opportunity to invite our PS, Dr. Juma Mukwana, to give us the official remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, brother Skanda, my father Thomas, you are my father. As my father was called Thomas Muhwana, so you are my father. From the GIZ and the German Embassy, I recognize the presence of KEPROPA, EPZ, and many other government agencies. I see my State Department for Industry here, Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Kenya Intellectual Industrial Property Institute, Kenya National Accreditation Service, and all exhibitors. Good morning. Hamjambo. I want to say that I'm quite happy to be here today in this space because this is where I belong. If I look back as a young person growing up in Kenya, cotton was and textile was part of our life. So what we are doing today, we are simply reenacting some of the things that we've done in the past. Those of you who are old enough like me know that the textile sector was one of the strongest in the 70s, coming into the 80s. I grew up on a farm in Western Kenya where we grew cotton. We had ginneries almost in every village. You do know that we had textile factories, Kikomi in Kisumu, we had in Eldoret, Raymond's, Rivertex, Kenit, Mountex in Nanyuki, and we actually had a Kenyan brand of clothes called Deacons that had shops across the country. So those who are old enough know that we had clothes from Deacons, but then things started going wrong around 1990, partly because of liberalization, where then we broke up the chain of supply and demand. And of course, more increasingly, we have also seen the issue of used clothes. So we are actually doing what we have done before. This government, which has now been in power for 8 months, has prioritized the 2 areas. So textile, very, very important for us. Leather, very, very important. That's why I'm here. I know today is a holiday. Again, also let me take that opportunity to tell our Muslim brothers, Eid Mubarak. We are working backwards and looking at what we can do. In spite of the very small efforts that we are putting today, we have nearly 30 textile factories in our EPZ in Athi River. And then we have another 7 or 10 outside the EPZ. We have Rivertex. Rivertex, over the last 5 years, the government of Kenya has invested nearly 7 billion Kenya shillings in Rivertex. So in Rivertex today, you have the biggest, most modern factory in East and Central Africa, very competitive, even across Africa. So we have a very, and the challenge that we have had is the backward linkages to cotton production. This year, we have been working with farmers. We have identified 24 counties in Kenya that are able to grow cotton. A week ago, I was out in Homa Bay, and in Homa Bay alone, we are growing nearly 5,000 acres of cotton, both BT cotton and open pollinated. We are also promoting cotton in Busia, in Mugoma, in Siaya, Migori, in Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, Kwale, Kilifi, Lamu. Lamu is giving us the best yield, especially for BT cotton, where we are getting 1,300 kilograms per acre. So this year we are looking at nearly 70,000 tons of seed that has gone out to support cotton production. And the President has directed that we need to work. We have established the Kenya Textile Working Group to look at all the issues within the value chain. So from seed production, inputs, credit to farmers, chemicals, and also ginny. The government has already built a ginnery at Rwanda in Busia. This financial year, we'll be doing 2 more ginneries. There's one ginnery that will come up in Malakisi, and there's a ginnery coming up in Lamu, being built by a private sector. So you can see that the interest is here. We are happy with those of us who have kept this industry going. The government has not given it a lot of attention, but starting this year, I can see a lot of attention. So with the National Working Group on textile, we are looking at all issues of the value chain, and we are hoping that we can grow that value chain. We are aware that we have the AGOA agreement, the duty-free, quota-free export to the US. We have not taken good advantage of that because a lot of the fabric that we are using is not made in Kenya. The directive I have is that within 3 years, all this fabric must come from Kenya. So that's why we are working with farmers so that they grow cotton. In the next 2 weeks, we are also going to be advertising for an international tender for somebody that would like to invest in synthetic fibers, polyester, acrylic, nylon, and others, so that these factories can take advantage. So we'll be looking for an accredited supplier of some of this material so that the country can take in more value from this value chain. Looking at leather, leather is a sleeping giant in this country. We are slaughtering nearly 3 million livestock every year. A lot of the leather goes to waste. The government has tried to establish tanneries and slaughterhouses, including export slaughterhouses that we have in Isiolo, in Marsabit, in collaboration with the World Bank. We have an export slaughterhouse in Wajir, in Mandera, and also in West Pokot. The only one that is working is the one in Narok. And what we are going to do now is to partner, to try and give away some of those tanneries to the private sector so that they can drive it. And that's, so we are going to be advertising so that you can take up some of these, not just for meat exports, but also to look at the issues of tanning and the quality of the leather, because we need a lot of awareness, and we are also in the process with support from ILO in establishing the Kenya Leather Working Group, so that we can also look at the issues that affect the various aspects of the value chain. In terms of markets, we are working very hard to open up international markets, but these markets cannot work without your support. Yesterday I was at the IDH function where I said that the effort that we are putting in as government is like a situation where you have closed the factory, but the marketing department is continuing to sell the product. So you have nothing to sell. So we are opening up huge markets, but we need capacity here for us to produce. For example, as Thomas was saying, a week ago, politically we concluded the EPA with the EU, potentially giving us 27 countries in Europe where you can export almost anything, quota-free, duty-free. But the question is, do we have the products? The honest answer is we will need to develop those products because that market is huge. We are also at the tail end of concluding the STIP, Strategic Partnership Agreement, for Kenya and the US, which will open up a lot of space, again in the textiles, leather, pharmaceuticals. You already know that Moderna is doing a factory here at Tatu City, and we are working to bring many more. But what we are seeing is that we are working so hard to open the market, but we don't have the potential to supply. So as investors, I've been talking to some of you, you have 6 employees, some have 30, some have 20. This is really an opportunity to grow to the next level. We are also at a very, very advanced stage with the Kenya-UK agreement. So again, that will open up a lot of market. But then on the African scene, we already have the ESC market, the East African market, that gives you very good duty-free entry into a lot of 7 countries with a population of 380 million, including the DRC, Congo, Burundi, Rwanda, South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania, and the African Continental Free Trade Area that is even growing bigger. Already we are exporting some tea now to Nigeria, to Ghana, and so it's opening up, and we want you to take advantage for Africa to trade with Africa. This is very, very important because as Africans, we have not done very well in that space. So mine is to thank you for the confidence that you have shown. I've seen companies here from Ethiopia, I've seen companies from India, from other jurisdictions. This is a vote of confidence. You have the support of the government of Kenya. The 2 value chains are very, very important for us. We have prioritized them as government areas of intervention, and we really welcome your ideas. As we build the leather value chain, I think I've indicated we already have support from ILO. I think the textile value chain, Thomas, now that you are here, you are on the radar so that we can see exactly, and you're already in this space. Not just, I know you have supported a lot of exhibitions here, but we want a very systematic approach so that we have from the supply chain, from cotton production, from seed, chemicals, ginning, the whole value chain, even the spin-offs of cotton seed cake as animal feed, oil production. So I would like to invite you again to also join our textile working group, where we identify. One, to be very systematic so that we are able to invest in such a manner that we create a sustainable textile production system in the country. And I will be talking to you. As I said, you have read my father, so what I've said now is a directive. So I've seen many of you exhibiting here. I have looked at your products. This is top notch. This is world class. We want to help you to climb to the next ladder. In the next 3 years, I will be the happiest man in this room if each one of us can grow our turnover, our employment by 3, 4, 5 times through the initiatives that we are having. So please tap into this. We are going to invite you. I think it will be good to say that we need almost a Kenyan conversation with all of you on how we can improve the textile. Because as government, we have very many ideas, but you are the people who are wearing the shoes. So as I've said again, I will talk to my friends. I think we need to really retreat, present the framework that we are developing, the activities that we want to implement, the quick wins, the ones that we need in the medium term and in the long term, so that we can have a solid revitalization of the textile and leather sectors within the country. So I've seen a lot of you here. I want to hear from you what is it that we can do so that we can take you to the next level. So my word to you is we will grow together. We are here to support you. Sometimes we may not know how to do it, and that's why we need a conversation. So maybe before the end of the year, we'll try and put together a stakeholder conference for textile. We can also do something separate for the leather so that we are able to focus as a country to say this is what the government is thinking, but you are the people that are in that space. What is it that we can do to accelerate growth, to create more value, to create more jobs, to create more products, to export more from those 2 areas that we are working on. The last issue I want to talk about is that we are also prioritizing as government county aggregation and industrial parks. This financial year, the government of Kenya, through the State Department for Industry, has invested 4.7 billion shillings to construct phase 1 of county industrial parks. And we are partnering with the county government. What we are doing, the county government provides the land. They provide half of the money, which is 250 million. The national government has budgeted 250 million. We have already advertised construction in 14 counties, and we are also doing a feasibility study to identify each of the 47 counties, what are the priority value chains? And I know that cotton, leather, if you look at the northern area, leather is a big value chain for most of the arid and semi-arid areas. We are constructing 5 to 7 manufacturing sheds in each county. We are already discussing with the African Development Bank and also discussing with the KCB and Equity Bank for them to equip those sheds with machinery. So going forward, if you come from Nyeri, you'll find a shed with 5 to 7 factories. You can do tea, you can do macadamia, you can do avocado. And the way we want to do it is that each factory will be equipped with technicians. So if you have the raw material of macadamia and you want to make your brand, you bring your raw material, you certify that the quality is good, you produce your macadamia, you pack it, and you leave. And the next person will come and do his. So you just book, you use the factory, if you're doing tea, if you're doing milk. This is what we want to do, to bring more people into that space. If you're doing milling of maize, you bring your 200 bags, you mill, you brand, you pack, you go, another person comes. So this is the way we are working. We are hoping that by the end of this financial year, we will have constructed and equipped 18 county industrial parks. And then in the next financial year, we'll be looking at another 18. And some of you who may find some of these machineries to be very expensive, you will then be, so we are using the leased equipment. The equipment will be leased to you for a period for you to produce, you pay, you go with your products, and somebody else will also produce. So this is what we are working on, and we really invite you. We will be having county-specific dialogue for each county to look at the value chains that are being prioritized for Kiambu, for Murang'a, for Mombasa, and so on. So with those many, many remarks, let me say again that let me thank our colleagues that have put all this together. GIZ have always been very, very supportive. Our friends, Trade and Fairs Group from Germany, Proper, EPZ, and all of you who have come to exhibit, know that you have our support, you have our ear. We are willing to support you, and we thank you for participating in this process, for the confidence that you have that through this forum you can grow your business, you can network with other businesses, and make a difference in Kenya, create prosperity for yourself, for your family, and for your country. With those many remarks, I want to declare the East African Textile and Leather Week officially open. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your wonderful speech, which really from your heart. Thank you so much. And you might wonder why the stage is white. It's just because we have an annual fashion show organized by Miss Olive from Couture Africa. Every day, I think at 4 or 4:30, we're going to have a fashion show. They will surprise you a little bit. We will surprise our exhibitors and the buyers. And we will promote the East African fashion and East African designers. I think the Delight Fashion Group is also part of it. Thanks for being here. I forgot to mention you before. So please go there and see what the young designers are also doing in East Africa. Thank you so much, and enjoy the event. Bye-bye.